So far we've used the command line to compile our code and to run our code, and also to edit our code using the Nano text editor. In this lesson we're going to look at another text editor that might be more graphical and might give you an easier time editing your files. So I'm going to show you how to install TextWrangler so you can use that for writing your code. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by opening the App Store, and once the App Store loads it's going to show you some promotional information. I'm going to go ahead up to the top right and I'm going to search for TextWrangler. And just hit enter, and you can see here TextWrangler is going to be one of our first results, and you can read all about its features, but I'm going to go ahead and just click the install button. Now you may or may not get a dialog to tell you you need to enter your password. I've done mine recently, so that dialog's not going to come up. But you should see it installs pretty quickly, and then it's available down here in my applications. So we'll go ahead and just open up TextWrangler, and when we get into it, pretty basic interface. We've got some options at the top, but mainly this is for editing our code. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and save my file. I'm going to hit Command S. You can also go File, Save. I'm going to hit Command S, and I'm going to say we're going to call this TextWrangler. And we're not going to save it as a .txt. We're going to save it as a .java. TextWrangler.java. I'll just go ahead and put this in my home directory. It is important to note though where you put your file, because we're still going to have to compile it using the command line. So I can use a couple of commands. We'll just go ahead and enter a basic file here: public class test TextWrangler. And you'll notice a couple of things right off. One, it's highlighting my keywords in a different color so that I can see what are keywords and what's the rest of my file. I'm going to go ahead and open a bracket, and we'll use public static void main. And we will just go ahead and finish this statement, and we'll say system.out.println. This is a test for TextWrangler. And notice that as I close my parentheses, I get that little highlight that identifies which parentheses are being closed. I'll do the same for curly braces. And it's also telling me what my line numbers are here. I can kind of expand and collapse my different sections. It's going to tell me some information down at the bottom about like what line I'm on or what character, and also identify when I've saved the file. So a few more features that you might be getting out of this than you might get over something like Nano. And this is going to make it a little bit easier for me to read my code, maybe a little bit easier to follow. But I'm going to go ahead and save this. And once I've saved this, I'm going to go ahead and open up my terminal. Now my terminal is going to open right to my home directory. So my file, test TextWrangler, should be right there. And if I type Java-C test TextWrangler.java, I should now have a file. So let's take a look at test TextWrangler. And I get my class file right here, and I can type Java test TextWrangler. Now you see this is actually running, so this is good. So it makes it much easier to kind of visually see what I'm doing. I can scroll up and down for a larger file, but it makes it a little bit simpler. Now if I want to write a program that has two different files, maybe I want to have something like something that just simply outputs a message. I can go ahead and create new text document, and you'll notice it's going to stack everything up in a drawer over here so that I can very easily switch between files. So we'll call this greeter.java, and we'll say public class greeter, public void greet, system.out.println. Hello. It's enthusiastic. That's what the exclamation point means. So we'll save that, and then we'll go into test TextWrangler, and then instead of doing this, we'll say greeter g is equal to new greeter g.greet. Now we can see our files are saved. We can move back and forth easily between them, and we can go back into our command line. We'll say Java-C test TextWrangler.java greeter.java. We'll go ahead and try test TextWrangler, Java test TextWrangler. There we go, we get our greeting. So you can see here we now have to switch between applications, but it does provide a little bit more of a visual interface. It makes it perhaps a little bit easier to follow what we're doing. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to practice your coding.